Hi, Greg from Curry Country Living. Today we're going to talk about how to get your turbulators unstuck in the gasification or downdraft stove. I kind of searched this on YouTube and couldn't find much, so hopefully you'll get some great information here. Have a look. So 2022 has been quite the year for quite the winter for purchasing a new Polar G2plus wood stove. Puts out about 110,000 BTU, and I had about 12 cord of wood, which I thought, well, would have been a normal winter with the reduction in wood from my old beast. Would have been enough. I normally ran around 24 cord, 20 to 24. I was hoping to get away with between 12 and 14, and I had 14. Ran out of wood, the longest winter on record, coldest and longest. And I brought some wood in, this wood right here behind me. I brought this wood in February, and when I purchased it, it was green. I knew it was green. And I started burning that wood in February with a little bit of dry wood that I had left over from what I'd had the year before. So whenever you're talking gasification stoves, everybody talks about you need to have good wood. You need to have good dry wood. You can't, if you're coming from a conventional like me, you can't get away with just throwing whatever you like in there. So when I started burning the wood in, I guess it was late February, early March, I knew that there was a risk of gumming up my turbulators. And basically the turbulators in a Polar, it's the same idea with all the wood stoves, whether it's a Heatmaster or a Crown Royal or a outdoor wood boy, whatever you want to call them. Basically they have tubes running through the water jacket, and the idea is that the heat goes up those tubes after gasification and heats up those tubes. I started running into some gumming a little bit about the second weekend as I was starting to run out of more dry wood. And then you're going to ask me, Greg, well, what do you consider dry wood? And it varies from between the poplar, the oak, which is most common in my area. I was burning some willow. So I think if you had wood that was under 20%, you would be okay. This stuff that I brought in was probably 25% or more, and it started gumming up. And right here you can see that this easy sweep is no longer easy sweeping. So I shut the stove down earlier than I wanted, but I knew I was running myself into problems. And now, after Googling stuck turbulators or creosol in turbulators, there's not much on there, so I thought maybe I would show you what I'm about to do. So I'm going to use a couple of different things. I've got a bunch of cardboard here that I'm going to put inside underneath the turbulators, bypassing the firebox altogether. And I've also got a Tagger torch. So the idea is I want to get the temperature up to be around 800 to 900 degrees. And then I'm going to run it through. The problem I have with my thermometer is it only goes up to about 500 degrees, but I'm gonna guess that I can get it up there fairly quick. The other thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to have a whole bunch of extended time on that turbulators and that heat, because I don't want to hurt my motor. So you got to be careful or be aware of that. There's some good insulation in there and then some separation from the firebox. So I'm pretty comfortable that if I don't run it for like hours, I would run myself into that. So on the Polar, again, I don't have much experience with Crown Royal, which is basically out of the States, but the Polar and Heatmaster, as far as getting to the turbulators, I don't think you can get much easier than this, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically I took out 2 screws off the top. So there's one screw here. This piece comes off, and I'm doing this one-handed. So that piece comes off. There's a screw at each end, and these are the screws that I took out. There's a piece of insulation right there that you take out, and then you just unscrew the top. And you take that part out, which is heavier than hell, and that opens up your turbulators. And basically this is what your turbulators look like. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had cleaned out all the other stuff here in anticipation of this. The other thing I did is I poured some diesel fuel down each one of those turbulators to try and loosen up or maybe help soak into that creosote. So right now we're going to fire up. I'm going to try the Tiger torch first and see if that works. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to go into the cardboard. And then I'm going to monitor the stack temperature. Like I say, this one only goes up to about 550 degrees, but I'll put this all back together. Yeah. Make sure we get that in nice and tight. And I don't think I really need to put this back in while I'm doing this, because I'm going to maybe want to work at that. So I'm going to leave this stuff off, but that's how that goes in there real quick. All right, so I think I'm ready to go. Today is middle of June, and I'm just firing up the furnace fan there, and you can hear it running. And I'll check the front doors to make sure they're all secure, because I'm going to be using this little side door on the other side here. But I don't need to be putting anything through the firebox. I cleaned this stuff out a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to take off the little door. I got Maverick, my new helper, here today. 5-month-old pup. He's going to be thinking what's going on here. Yes, I know. Lots of stuff going on, Mav. So we're going to take this door off here. Basically on the Polar, they're all the same. They kind of got a hook system. And I'm going to start off with the Tiger torch. And I'm going to put the Tiger torch in there, which is just underneath those turbulators. And hopefully the fan will suck the heat up. And we'll keep an eye on the temperature and see how that works. So I'll switch over to my other camera while I do this. Oh, you can sure tell there's a lot of, I don't know if you can see that or not, but I've got a lot of smoke coming out the top. So that's interesting. So this is just with the Tiger torch. I did soak these with the diesel fuel. The temperature is rising there fairly quickly. Burning that off. Maybe a little bit looser. Regulators out even more. So one thing that I wanted to show too was when you do that handle back and forth on the turbulators, the amount of soot and stuff that comes out of the chimney. I don't know if that will show up in the GoPro or not, but I'm getting pretty good free range now. Getting easier and easier. And I'll just get Tracy to come over here now, and if you can put the handle back and forth. My handy dandy assistant, who is bringing me out a drink on this plus 30 degrees Celsius or 85 degree day. Nope, I just need you to go back and forth on that. Can you stop for a sec, Trace? So the closest turbulator to me isn't moving, and I don't know why. I'm going to have to take a look at that. But all the rest of them are moving quite well. Good, thank you. Yeah, she's warm. Yeah, so a lot of soot came out of there. And I'll maybe go get my handy dandy assistant and get her to move these turbulators so I can see what's going on with that. It's this one over here. Doesn't seem to be moving. I'm just not too entirely sure why, but I've cleaned a lot of shit out of there and I've got free movement. And you would think that with all the pins in that turbulator should move. I'm just going to go up on top here and take a look at the turbulators while my trusty assistants, aka Tracy, my wife, moves that turbulator now. Yep, go ahead. So they're all moving really nice. I really like that. So I'm going to pull those pins and take it out and put the brush down it. And just keep going there, Trace. Keep going back and forth, and we'll go around to the other side here. So you can do that with one hand, though, if you wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not hard.
No. So. Huh.
They all moving now?
No, that one still isn't. So just stop for a sec. So I can see, okay, move it just slow. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, this closest one to me isn't moving. So we're going to check that again on the other side because it's moving up top. And the only reason it can't move is because it broke, maybe. But, yep, go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, maybe I've got a broke turbulator. Maybe I've got a broken turbulator. We're going to find out. This may be too hot to take off, but not bad. So on the turbulators, it's just a snap that comes out. And you can see it's just a pin, and then the turbulator comes off. And there's 7 of them. Yeah, that one fell off right away. That one fell off right away. So I'm curious as to what's going on with that one turbulator, the front one. Because all these ones are coming off quite nicely. And they're still a little bit warm, so I'm not going to be able to pull those out without letting them cool off. But they're all free and freely moving, which is good. It wasn't near as difficult as I was anticipating. So they're all off except for that far one, and they're just a little bit warm to touch by hand. So I'm going to let them cool off a little bit, come back. This is the turbulator here that I'm kind of curious about because it's moving on the shaft, but it's not moving below. So either I've got a broken turbulator or something else is going on. It's cooled down a little bit. I've got a pair of gloves. Let's see what we can find out what's going on in here. So my idea is to pull the turbulators out, put the wire brush down, and 1, filter nav 2. Yeah. That one's still pretty stiff. So let's shit out. There's 3. One, 2, 3, 4. 4. Five. Whoop, there goes the GoPro. Number 6. And the last one is the one that's giving me a little grief. So I'm not sure what's going on with it. It's not moving, so I'm thinking it was just springing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th one is not free. So what are my options? I'll maybe clean this all up and wire brush those out. And then I'll see if I can maybe turn that one out. Maybe that would be an option. We'll see. So what I'm finding with the last turbulator is I can't pull it out. It was springing. That's why it wasn't moving below. But I can screw it out. So my plan is to screw it all the way out and then put the brush in and out and see whether or not I can get it back in nice and smooth. All the other ones came out real nice and they look good. I haven't brushed anything yet, but we will do that shortly. So let's put this over here. Put on my handy dandy gloves. Who knew that GoProing and working at the same time would be my joke in the family? Is whenever there's work to be done, Greg grabs the cameras and everybody else does the work, but it's really the shits when you got to do both. So yeah, I'm just corkscrewing that out. And it's coming out fairly easy that way. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But that's what was happening down below when it was moving. And these things are like a coil, like a slinky. So it was probably moving the top part. And then my suspicion is that the creosote is all at the bottom. Although it's coming out hard the whole way. There you go, girl. I find this ironic that we had one of the coolest winters on record, and I picked one of the hottest days in June to do this. There it goes. So it feels like it's at the bottom, but anyways, that came out easy by corkscrewing it out. So there's all 7 of my turbulators out. Now I'm going to grab my brush that came with the wood stove, and we'll wire them all out. Oh, so there's our, that's snug. You're not going to just do that with one hand. Oh, although you push everything down, push everything out. Nice. See if we can give you a different camera angle on that. So the one that was giving me a hard time is at the far side, so we'll do that one and see how it goes in. Yep, it's tight. Definitely some buildup down there. Oh yeah, bunch came out there. Good show. Love it. Oh, it's going in easy. Helping to have an assistant. Here's the first turbulator. This is the one that I had so much problems with getting out, and it just went in there like tickety-boo. So, happy with that. The others I don't expect any problems with. It's 2. This is turbulator 3. Just slide in there like greased butter. Why am I having problems with that one? Look at that, I just said greased butter and jinxed myself, so. Looks on that one. Up. Did I mention it's probably 30, 35 degrees out today? Hot bitch of a day. And I'm working on the wood stove. There we go. Now I'll pull this handle across. And reattach my turbulators. Six down, 1 to go. So how long did this take you, Greg? All this time. So it's been a hot day, so I haven't been going at it super hard. I've been taking breaks and water breaks and stuff, but I think start to finish, I probably would have been, I would say, an hour and a half getting the turbulators unstuck and not knowing what I was running into. I'm gonna call that success. And that's the last one. So now I'll just go down and do the easy sweep and see how easy that is. It'll be just like new. And it is just like new. Yeah, this is sweat in the eyes. Success. So I think the only thing that I will do is clean out that bottom part and call it clean for the year. Well, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed that video, consider giving me a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, or leaving some comments. I'd love to hear from some of you other gasification owners on whether or not you had problems with your wood stoves and what you thought caused them. I know everybody thinks they've got the best wood stove gasification out there. I really like the Polar. It's a good solid unit. I did look at Heatmaster, which was close by to me, and this one. The other brands are more American, no access to them here in southern Manitoba. Can't really comment on them, but don't be scared to check out the Polar. So with that, take care. We'll talk to you next time, and I'm just going to finish off by cleaning out the bottom and closing this door. Thanks.